أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. This is lesson number 4 on the subject of morphology and page number 6 of my book. The last lesson we discussed about the divisions of kalima and the definition of kalima, which is lafz, mawdu, mufrad, a singular word with a meaning. And today we are going to talk about the first division of kalima. Kalima has 5 divisions. Se aqsam is the first division. Shash aqsam is the second division. Haft aqsam is the third division. And morab and mabani is the fourth division. And duaz the aqsam is the fifth division. Today we are going to talk about the first division, which is se aqsam. And this book, the first book that I have written on the subject of morphology, it talks about, majority of it, about the first division, which is se aqsam. What does se aqsam mean? In Urdu, if you look at page number 6, it says, अपना माना जाहिर करने के सिलसिले में किसी दूसरे कलमे की तरफ मुख्ताज होने या ना होने के एतबार से। इस तकसीम को इस्तिलाह सर्फ में से अक़साम कहते हैं. From the aspect of whether a word is independent or dependent, meaning it is dependent upon another kalima, or is independent, it doesn't depend on any other kalima in expressing its own meaning. So from the aspect of whether a word is dependent or independent in expressing itself, I'm going to explain to you, inshallah, wa fadlihi ta'ala. You see, I have made the chart on the wall, and you have it in your book as well. The first division is se aqsam. Se aqsam is further divided into 3. The first division is ism, meaning a noun. The second division is of se aqsam is a verb, fi'l. And the third division is harf, a particle. And this is correctly understood by a way of example. For example, I have used an example on page number 7. Rajulun, right down at the bottom of page number 7. So, as the book is written, it talks about the first division, which is se aqsam, the second division, the third division, the fourth division, and then the fifth division. Then I have explained what the first division is, and it's at the bottom of page number 7. I have explained, I have written ism, fi'l or harf, whether a kalima is dependent. So if you notice, I'm using the term kalima. So when I say the word kalima, or anybody says the word kalima, it means lafz, mawdu, mufrad, meaning a singular word with a meaning. So all of these, ism, fi'l and harf, they are all singular words and they have meanings. Okay? We are just trying to understand whether this meaning is independent, whether this kalima is able to express its own meaning independently without the help of any other kalima. So ism, first of all, वो कलिमा जो अपना माना जाहिर, this is at the bottom of page number 7, वो कलिमा जो अपना माना जाहिर करने में किसी दूसरे कलमे का मोहताज ना हो. इसका माना तीनों ज़मानों, माजी, हाल और मुस्तकबिल में किसी के साथ मिला हुआ ना हो. जैसे रजुलुन, मर्द, कातिबुन, लिखने वाला. In English, then a noun, a word that is independent in expressing its individual meaning, and it is not connected to any of the three tenses, past, present, or future, such as rajulun, man, qatibun, a writer. For example, all of these nouns that you have, for example, you say a car, a man, a house, an apple, they are all singular words, but they are able to express their own meanings. They are able to explain their own meanings, and they are not dependent upon anybody else or any other kalima to express itself. And they don't have a time clause. For example, they don't have a time attached to it. For example, the past time, past tense, or the future tense, or the present tense. There is no tenses attached to them. And this is the definition of ism. It will be better understood when you understand the definition of fail. Fail. And what does ism mean? Ism, it means a sign, a symbol of something, and it can mean something which is lofty, which is high. These are the literal meanings, and the technical meaning is a kalima that is able to express itself, is meaning without the help of any of the tenses. Now, if we move on to page number 8, right at the top, fail is discussed. And what is fail? If you look, आप देखें वो कलिमा जो अपना माना जाहिर करने में किसी दूसरे कलमे का मोहताज हो. I have written ना हो, ये ना हो गलत है. So this is dependent on something else. एक के साथ किसी कलमे के साथ मिला हुआ हो, जैसे दाराबा. And we will be using this word, ये हम इस्तेमाल करेंगे अपनी गर्दानों में. यही जो है कलिमा दाराबा, उसने मारा, यदरिबू वो मारता है या मारेगा. If you see, daraba is a kalima, but it's not dependent. It's dependent upon the time clause, meaning daraba, it would mean past tense. Yadribu, it means present and future tense. So there is always a tense attached to it. For example, and sometimes if you look at it, you mean like daraba. Daraba would mean one man hit in the past. So there is three things attached to it. For example, you have the action of hitting, one. जो फेल है मारने का, यानी दाराबा का मान ये है कि मारा उस एक मर्द ने. So you have the mard, and you have the man, and you have the time clause. You have the time, यानी जो ये फेल है मारने का, ये ज़माना माजी में हुआ. So ज़माना भी उसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, उसका फाइल भी उसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. तो ये जब दोनों चीज़ें जुड़े तो फिर वो फेल का समझ आता है कि वो फेल क्या है, उसका माना ज़ाहिर होता है. यानी मारा उस एक मर्द ने, तो ये गायब का सीगा है. तो इसका मानी ये हुआ कि ज़माना माजी में एक मर्द ने मारने का अमल किया. और फिर बाज़ों का फिर जिसको मारा वो भी चाहिए होता है, जिसको मफूल कहते हैं, लेकिन वो आगे हम उस पर गुफ्तगू करेंगे. So what I have tried to explain is that daraba is a verb, and a verb is not independent in expressing its own meaning. It is always attached to two things. One, that the doer of the action. For example, the action is hitting, so you must have somebody who is doing the action of hitting. So without the doer, without the file, the action cannot be done. The hitting cannot take place without somebody who is hitting. And then this action has to be done in a time frame. So whether this time frame is the past tense, whether it is the present tense, meaning now, or whether it is the future tense, meaning that it will happen. So three things are always attached to a verb. But in the case of ism, none of these things were attached to him. So therefore, Ism was independent in expressing its own meaning, and fail is not independent, because you have the fail, which is dara, daraba, darban. You have, but you also need a file, a doer, somebody who is going to actually do the action of hitting. And then when the action takes place, if it's in the past tense, it would be called madi. Then if it's present, it would be called hal. Or if it's the future, it would be called mustaqbal. So it has to have a time frame attached to it. And then it also sometimes has to have the maf'ul, the object that the action is done upon. So you can't have the action of hitting without somebody or something that you're going to hit. So this is the definition of fail. A word that is independent in expressing its individual meaning, and it is connected. So it is able to express itself, but it has to be connected to a time frame. For example, a past tense, present tense, or the future tense. Okay, so daraba would be the past tense, fi'l mazi mutlaq, fi'l mazi, and then you would have yadribu, which would be the present and future tense. So therefore these things are attached to it. Now the third category, the third division of kalima. So we've discussed ism, noun. We've discussed fi'l, verb. The last one is harf. And harf वो कलमा जो अपना माना जाहिर करने में किसी कलमे का मोहताज हो, यानी it is always dependent in expressing its individual meaning. यानी दूसरे कलमे के मिलाए बगैर अपना माना जाहिर ना कर सके, और तीन जमानों में से कोई जमाना ना मिला हुआ हो. यानी a particle, a word that is not dependent in expressing its individual meaning, like fail was independent in expressing its individual meaning, but it has the attachment of one of the time frame with it. But this is from the very start. It is not independent. It cannot express its own meaning until another kalima attaches to it. For example, in order for the particle to give a understandable meaning, it has to be paired, connected with another word, either a noun or a verb. For example, min, you read this in Quran Majid, Furqan Hamid all the time, in all the Arabic texts. You see the word min, you see the word ilah, and min would mean from. आप देखते हैं कि कुरान मजीद में, फुरकान हमीद में और हदीस रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, दीगर अरबी कुतब, उनमें देखते हैं कि ये मिन और इलाह ऐसे हर्फ इस्तेमाल होते हैं, लिखे हुए होते हैं. यानी मिन का क्या मानी, मिन से, इलाह का मानी क्या, तक. लेकिन इनका माना जब तक और कोई कलिमा इनके साथ जुड़े ना, इनका माना जाहिर नहीं होता. So the word that is independent in expressing its individual meaning, rather it dependent on another word. In order for a particle to give a understandable meaning, it has to be paired with another word, either a noun or a verb. Min means from, ilah is to or towards. And I have given an example at the bottom, halfway through page number 8. Sirtu min al-basarati ila al-kufa. You see, sirtu is a fail, min is a harf. Al-basara, it is a name of a city, so it's a noun. Ila is then again a particle. Al-kufa, it is the name of a city. So what the meaning of it is, sirtu, I traveled, min, from, al-basara, from Basra, ila, towards, al-Kufa. Kufa is another city. So without, if you was to remove the word min and ilah from this sentence, it would not make sense. But min and ilah independently, if you was just to try to understand them, they have a meaning. It is a kalima, it is lafz, mawzu, mufrad. It is a kalima, but without the attachment of sirtu al-basara, a verb and a noun, it is not able to fully express, give its meaning. So this is a particle. And I hope you understood. I have had many messages that whether I'm going to teach any other books, inshallah, if Allah gives me the ability, by virtue of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the blessed family, I will be teaching, inshallah, syntax, nahaf very soon. I have written a book on that subject as well. It is being composed. Inshallah, when it arrives, I shall be teaching that as well. The other question was whether I will be in a position to listen to anybody's conjugations or asbaq lessons. Whoever wants to participate, they can, inshallah, and I will try my best. If I am not able to myself, I'm sure one of my students will gladly be able to assist to listen to your lessons via the phone. I do teach in Jamia Masjid Ghosia, Lee Bridge Road, Waltham Forest Islamic Association every day. I am there in the masjid from 4 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock, but I have different lessons, different classes. So, but you can contact me, and inshallah I will try to help as much as I can. But there is, I have, alhamdulillah, students that will be more than happy to help you, inshallah. The other thing is, all this information, all these lectures are available on Jamia Fatimiyya Qadriya Jilaniya platform as well, and Waltham Forest Islamic Association, their platform as well. And also there is another website, Islamic Hub, by the name of Islamic Hub. A couple of my students have got together and made. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to try to understand deen, act upon it and spread it. Ma alayna illa al-balagh al-mubin. Akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulihi Muhammadin wa alihi wa ali baytihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Ameen.